Well, it's official. Finland is now a member of NATO. The country applied to join the alliance last May following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is at NATO's headquarters in Brussels for a full day of meetings and to mark Finland joining the alliance. The CBS News foreign correspondent Ian Lee is following this development from London for us. Let's let people know just how significant of a move it is for Finland to join NATO, because this is a major shift in sort of its international policy, if you will.
Oh, that's correct. This is incredibly significant, Anne-Marie. By joining the alliance, they double NATO's border with Russia. When the war in Ukraine first started, one of the Kremlin's reason was to prevent the alliance from expanding, but that's exactly what happened. In fact, Secretary of State Blinken said today that it's the one thing they can thank Russian President Vladimir Putin for, because his actions contributed to more countries wanting to join. Finland was non-aligned before the war, and today 80% of Finns supported joining NATO. And the country brings a lot militarily to the alliance. Let's break down some of the figures. It has general conscription, so at a time of crisis, it can rapidly mobilize 280,000 troops with a reserve of 900,000 soldiers. It has one of the largest and best equipped artillery forces in Europe. The country spends over 2% of its GDP on defense, which is in line with NATO standards. Finland is also a technologically advanced nation. It's good particularly at hybrid warfare, and that includes cyber threats, which is crucial these days. So, to sum it up, it is a big net gain for the alliance.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what this might mean for Russia and its invasion of Ukraine. It's striking to me and to many others that one of the reasons that Vladimir Putin has been belligerent, not just in this recent military action against Ukraine, but generally is his wish for NATO to remain as it is, or perhaps be completely diminished, which we saw during the Trump administration. Instead, it's had the opposite effect.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right, Vlad. We really have seen a complete shift in the alliance. I remember French President Emmanuel Macron say that the alliance was on life support, and after the war started in Ukraine, we really have seen this resurgence. Finland, when it comes to Ukraine, Finland has already been a strong supporter of Kyiv by providing military assistance. We can expect that support to continue, with Finland joining. But, this really just gives Moscow another headache on the border. The Kremlin said Russia would be forced to take countermeasures to Finland's accession to the alliance. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said that the move raised the prospect of the conflict in Ukraine escalating further. It's kind of hard to see how that would exactly happen, because Russia really, at the moment, is throwing about everything they have at Ukraine.
Yeah, and just sort of a historic reminder, Russia invaded Finland, right, in 1940, 1939. Right. So they have good reason to sort of be concerned when, looking across the border and seeing what was happening in Ukraine. Secretary Blinken is in Brussels today for a full day of meetings. Do we know what's on his agenda?
Yeah. Just to go back, when Russia invaded Finland, they lost 1 million troops, according to Russian documents. And so that will be a reminder for them. But yes, with Blinken there, first off, him being there is part of the celebrations. And this is a day of celebration for NATO. Welcoming a new member is a time for pomp. So having the Secretary of State there just shows America's commitment. Blinken accepted Finland's accession into the alliance and declared Finland the 31st member of NATO. But this is more than just ceremony. He will be talking about strengthening the alliance. Of course, they're going to be talking about bringing Sweden in. And as I previously stated, Finland does bring a lot of military might, but the secretary isn't going to be talking about just bullets and bombs. Top on the agenda is going to be energy security. The United States and European Union are exploring ways to further reduce Europe's dependence on Russian energy. We've already seen a dramatic shift away from Moscow, both with oil and gas imports being drastically cut after the invasion. But Europe wants to move to complete independence, and the United States wants to help with that.
So, Ian, Sweden has also applied to join NATO alongside Finland. What has slowed down their application, in particular, as it relates to Turkey?
And Ian, let me just ask you, sort of springboarding off of Vlad's question. When Finland, raised the idea of joining NATO, was it Finland and Sweden together? Were they sort of initially pitching themselves as a twosome, and then that didn't work out?
Yeah, kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Yeah, they were both trying to do it together. And actually, in fact, both countries said they would only join if they were both joining together and accepted at the same time. But we saw a bit of shift of that, obviously, with Finland. And I was watching the ceremony today, and, it was interesting to note once Finland was accepted into NATO, the first thing that Finland's foreign minister did was support Sweden joining the alliance. Sweden was definitely there in spirit, but this slowdown can really be, I guess, if you want to blame it on someone or say who's responsible, it's Turkey. The delay can partially be blamed on domestic considerations. Turkey wants Sweden to take a stronger stance on the Kurdistan Workers' Party. This is an organization in Turkey and that operates also in Syria that is seen as a terrorist organization by Ankara. Some of their members have been living in Sweden. Now, an agreement was signed last June on that matter, but Turkey is holding elections in May, and there have been tensions with Stockholm after a Quran was burned in a protest earlier this year. So this could be part of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, efforts to kind of gain political points at home, put some pressure on the United States to lift a block on the sale of F-16 fighter jets that Turkey definitely wants. So, there has been a lot of this tension within the alliance between Turkey and other members. There's frustration, but NATO wants to stay, when you talk to them, when you hear from them, they say that the alliance is united and that they do expect Sweden to be joining it later down the road.
All right, Ian Lee for us in London. Ian, as always, my friend, thank you.